Welcome back. Right into it. As you can see in front of you, we have a absolutely gorgeous firearm. Springfield Professional. This one is a professional operator because it has a rail. This one I told you guys before, if I ever got my hands on it, I would give you a review. And this is it. This has been an elusive one for me. I say elusive only because I had this gun before and then I sold it. Foolishly. I sold it to fund my ACW, which at the time was a good decision to fund it. Did all that, had my experience with ACW, and I just decided that I'm more of a Springfield person, as you can see with all my other videos. But I'm glad to have this back. Again, this is the Pro model in 45 ACP. I got kind of lucky in that, I like to buy my guns locally. Every now and then I'll pull one off the internet, but I really like to do it locally. And there was nothing, there was the chances of seeing this gun in my area it's pretty slim because it's a rare gun in and of itself. But I bought a different Pro before getting this one. I bought this one and I had it for all of about a month. And then I was searching locally some more and I saw another one pop up and I had to get this one as well. Both 45. The difference is that this one right here, if you look at the serial number, this is an older one, CRG 3274. This is going to be one during the FBI contract era, when Springfield was building these guns for the FBI. They no longer do that anymore. This one here is going to be a later model before they did away with making these in the pro shop. So I'm going to do a little bit of comparison of both of these. Before I get started, let's just take a second to just appreciate the beauty of this thing. I mean, it is a gorgeous firearm. I remember when I first got into 1911s and I saw this gun, I was like, wow, that is insanely gorgeous. But it's a Springfield. I'm not going to spend that much money on a Springfield when I can get a Wilson Combat or a Nighthawk or something like that. So I went that route early on. I went, the high-end models, not knowing about the Springfield Custom Shop and what they're capable of. Well, now that, I've been collecting 1911s or having them and being experienced with them for a few years now, I much rather prefer this over any of the high-end customs out there. I mean, this is technically a custom firearm, but it's Springfield, and you can find some good deals on this. Let's get into the history of this firearm. And before we can get into this, of course, it traces back to what the FBI picked as their sidearm for their FBI SWAT teams, the HRT teams, and also, believe it or not, the DEA also picked this firearm here. So in the mid 1990s, I think it was either 94 or 95, regional FBI SWAT teams were looking for a new pistol. The FBI came out with a request, and the request was for a 45 caliber semi-auto single action pistol made of steel, ambi safety, grip safety, Novak sights. If anybody had any doubt that they wanted a 1911, they specified clearly that they were looking for a single column magazine with no less than 8 rounds and based off of a Wilson 47D magazine, Wilson Combat 47D. That's this guy right here. That's just your 47D. And this is what they wanted it based off of. So essentially they wanted a 1911. There were a few manufacturers that answered the call. To name a few, I believe it was Kimber, Colt, Wilson Combat, Les Bear. There was a couple others. One of them was this little tiny company called Pro Gun. It was just a 2-man operation, and they end up making it pretty far. They're one of the finalists next to Springfield here. All those manufacturers entered in their prototypes, and they had to go through stringent testing to get selected by the FBI. Some of the requirements, starting with a very in-depth inspection process to make sure that they were in compliance with specifications. They had to do various safety checks, abuse checks, firing tests, field suitability tests, accuracy tests, endurance tests, and finally a additional accuracy test. And all of the firearms, they had to reliably feed and shoot the FBI's chosen ammo, which was Remington Golden Saber hollow points. The testing required unparalleled reliability through a grueling endurance test of they had to fire 20,000 rounds per sample tested, and the accuracy, they had to average a 1.5 inch at 25 yard, 3 consecutive 10 shot groups from a ransom rest, which is like a brace, I'd imagine. And Springfield, believe it or not, passed this test with flying colors. Some of the other companies, not so much. I'm not going to go into extensive detail about the tests, but if you really want to know more about that, there's a channel called the Old 1911, and this guy does a review on the operator model. He reads a write-up that goes extensively into the very details of what that entails. So I'll put a link here somewhere on this, and you can check that out if you want to. It's a longer video, but it's worth it. The professional model is actually the civilian version of the FBI's. It'll either be known as their HRT pistols or their bureau model. Civilians wanted this firearm here, so Springfield decided to come out with their bureau model. They managed to make 258 guns before the Department of Justice was like, nope, you guys can't use bureau. That's our trademark. Knock it off. So then they switched to the professional model, and they have the regular model, which on the side of it will say professional, and then they have the railed model, which we know now, if it says operator, then it has a rail on it. So this is the prestigious and elusive Springfield Professional 1911. Let's compare the two here. Springfield Pros, right? This one's in the 3,000 range. This one's in the 7,000 range. This one was produced in 2008. And this one was produced, I believe, I want to say either 2017 or 2019. Let's take a quick gander. Okay, so they're both clear. The first place I want to start is actually the front strap check ring. So we have 20 LPI in the front here and on the front here. I didn't notice this until I got both of them in hand, that there's actually a difference. So what I can describe, these here on your newer model, they feel more aggressive. They feel sharper. And if you look at it, they actually look like they point out in like a triangle shape more. Whereas if you look at the older ones, right, they're a little bit more recessed, okay? And you can really tell that whenever you grip it, right? This grip feels good. This grip feels better. And it's got nothing to do with the actual grips on there. I'm talking specifically about that front strap check ring. So on your newer model, it's going to be more aggressive than what the older model has. And I think you can really see that if you look underneath here, if you look on the inside of the mags, of the magazine well, this one here is a little bit thinner than this here. This is thicker. They had more room to make these more aggressive by going in more than what they did here. That's what it looks like to me. If you look at the blending of the magwell, right, both of them are blended immaculately. However, you can see the difference here on your newer model, right? This one is blended to where it's just straight here. There's a little bit of an edge on the inside here and there. And this one, they blend that, the magwell, they actually make it curve and turn to where that's a non-issue. So the newer one overall has a better blend there. If you look at the bump pads, or the bump pads on the on your grip safety. All right, slight difference here. This one has more of a oval shape, and this one is more of a like a hexagon shape. Right, see the difference? All right, the actual blending itself on the newer one, it's a lot better as far as when you push it in compared to the older model. Right, that's as far as the older model is going to go. And you can definitely see there's a lip there, both sides, and the newer one, you know, nice and smooth. Okay. Coming up, your magazine release, you know, a little bit different as far as the visuals, but overall the same. Okay, moving on up, trigger. All right, both of them have a 4.5 pound pull trigger, or it's supposed to be in that area at least. If I come here, barely any take up, and then a little bit of pressure. All right, and the release. It's very nice. And you come over to this one. All right, a little bit more take up, but nice and crisp. And I think the recess just a tad bit longer. So if I had to give the edge to one of the two, I would say this one has a slightly better trigger pull. Okay, coming on this side, if we look at the frame, and this is something that I noticed, I don't think a lot of people really notice or really care, but these are things that I pay attention to because I'm really about aesthetics of the gun. First of all, you can see that the font and the print is different. Obviously that's going to happen over, you know, decades of changing out machinery and whatnot. But one of the ways that I can quickly tell if a Springfield model is one of the older ones, and I usually see this on CRGs 4000 and below, but you can see the Cal 45. You see how it's printed on there, that font. And then you come over here to the newer ones, and it's a different font. That's how I can tell right away which is which. Does it really matter? No. Aesthetically, I prefer this, but that's just me. Okay, moving on. I think that's going to do it for the frame. Let's go up to the slide. This here is a little bit smaller, a little bit thinner than that there. And of course you have the cross canons there for Springfield, and then Springfield Custom at the top. This one looks like it's lightly put on. Compared to this one, looks just like it's more engraved in there. And both of them look really, really sharp. Yes, I know, you know, the constant putting on of Springfield Armory on there is a little bit redundant, but looks good. And then on this side of the slide, right, they both say the same thing. Font's a little bit different, but both of them look very clean. The barrels, like I pointed out in the beginning, right, you have the Nolan barrel, Nolan 45 ACP, or Nolan, however you say it. And then on this side, you have the National Match 45 Auto. There is a difference in that the FBI came to Springfield later and requested a smoother, more accurate barrel, and then Springfield developed one that was in-house. If I had to make an educated guess, I would guess that it really came down to money as to why they decided to switch, but that's what Springfield had put out. They switched it because it was the FBI's request. Both of them have Novex sights in the rear. What I did notice though, and you probably can't really see it on camera, but you can definitely see it whenever you pick it up and you sight in. So the gap here is slightly larger than this one here, right? Just ever so slightly. And when I'm sighting in with the gun on the left, right, there's barely any light on either side of the front sight post. And then on this one, there is significantly more light on there. So this is the newer type of Novak sight that they went with. And this one, of course, is one of the older ones. So we got that there. Now, both of these guns are allegedly finished in their black tea finish, okay? And that may be the case, but what I did notice is that the colors are not the same. I'll throw up a picture so you can see the gun on the left, the earlier model. It looks more black to me, right? This one has more of a like grayish type hue to it. And again, I don't know why that is. It could be a batch thing, or it could be that they just developed their stuff to be more durable now. I'm not sure, but there's that. As far as asking about, if people want to ask about the light, this is going to be your Surefire X300 Ultra. It's just going to be your Mod Light PL350. The Ultra is an older model. This is actually a newer model. Let's see if I have room for all these damn guns. Newer model, which is the X300 Turbo, which is, so this one's going to have more lumens. This one's going to have more candela. It causes the human eye to have more of a blinding effect than what lumens do. So there's the difference in there. And while I got this guy out, the TRP, okay, this is your, actually, you know what, let me go back. One thing I forgot to show you guys was the rear. Of course, you're going to want to see that, right? You're going to want to see the rear of it. So this one here, if you look at the extractors, both of them are blended very, very well, right? Very well on both sides. If you look at the space between the ejectors, the one on the right, there's a little bit more of a gap there from the ejector to the slide compared to the ejector here and the slide. Both of them have a flawless finish going down to the frame. I am not a gunsmith or anything, so I don't know if that gap makes it a difference. I imagine not, but both of them, you know, very nice, very good in the rear here. Let's see, before I move on to the TRP, is there anything else? Both of them nice and tight. This one has a little bit more wobble. If I had to give a thumbs up to which one had the better slide to frame finish as far as going left and right, it's going to be the newer one. This one I can move like barely, and this one's definitely a bit more loose, and you can probably hear that, but still both of them are very, very tight. Throwing a TRP real quick. I'm not going to go into detail, but just for, you know, this is your full rail TRP, which is a badass gun. You know, it's going to have more weight up in the front. It's going to have the bull barrel. Supposedly, it makes it more accurate. This is a production line gun, and this is a custom gun. Which one do I prefer? Hands down, this guy here. I took them out both, and I shot. I mean, this one is like I said in my last videos, this is the most accurate gun that I had at the time, until I got that one, and the other Pro 2, for that matter. They both are just incredibly accurate, more accurate than I am as a shooter. But for visual purposes, you know, just in case you wanted to look at both of them and compare the two. After getting this one, I mean, I don't even know if I have a need for this guy anymore. When it comes down to both of these, which one do I like better? If I had to only keep one, for me, I'm gonna go with this one here. There's just something about the older model Springfields that draw me. I like the way that they were fit at that time, even though arguably this one is fit better. Bottom line, they both shoot just as accurate. Oh, one thing I forgot to hit on was the bushing fit. Holy crap! This one, if you try to do the standard, you know, pushing down the plunger and try turning it, it does not budge. I cannot get it to budge whatsoever. no matter how hard I try. This one, just as hard, but I can get it to move a tiny bit with my finger. You see that? I can't get it to move past that, but that's how much I can move it. With this one, there's no way. There's no way. The bushing to barrel fit on this is way tighter than what this one is. Now it could be a one-off model, but this is tighter, which arguably affects your accuracy. But yeah, I like this one. This one here, it's nice, and like I said, I got really lucky on grabbing both of them. This one I'm keeping. This one, will probably go bye-bye, but I don't know. We'll see. We shall see. Other than that, that's all I got. I will be coming out with some more videos soon. I got a Staccato XC I want to do, and then I want to do some Glocks and some SIGs and stuff like that. Some non-1911 firearms. But yeah, Springfield Professional. If you have the opportunity to get your hands on one, I highly suggest it. Other than that, I'll catch you guys later. Have a good one.